Hi guys, Jurassic Junkie here and Colonial Marine sucks. Welcome to the Friday Night Rant. So yes, that game is so bad and I've got some stuff to talk about it, but before we crack on I want to have a drink. DIY is grating on me now and I want it to be over. It's on the very final stages now, but at least it's not affecting the Friday Night Rant. So I'm going to consume vodka and Coke, very basic, but it does the job. Tastes very much like vodka and Coke. So the first thing I actually want to talk about is Nintendo, because I wanted to talk about it last week, but obviously with the Sony conference taking over practically all of the episode, it didn't give me any time to talk about Nintendo. But Nintendo time and time again do this thing that really annoy me. And first of all, that Joe is now on her 5th 3DS. Now, she's gone from a standard DS to then the XL 3DS, and then she's gone, now I want that colour, and sold it and brought a different one, and now she's got a new one, which I don't know if I've not shown off on a pickup, but I'll do, that's for another time. Point is, she's now on her 5th one, so this is it. This is the one she now needs to keep, because if they bring out another version and she decides to get a 6th one, then she can't transfer her stuff across. You can only transfer it 5, and it annoys me that they're saying like, no, your content's locked. It should be all big, juicy, lovely cloud, and I can access my content where I want. Whereas Nintendo don't really allow it to work like that. And the same is going for the Wii U. So this story starts off with a chap by the name of John, who absolutely loves Nintendo and all the old Nintendo goodness. So when the Wii turned around and says you can have obviously all your classics on the actual WiiWare, then he went nuts and actually brought everything. And by everything, he actually spent $400 on building up a gigantic collection of all retro goodness, and obviously probably a few modern-ish titles in there. But so a total of $400 spent on digital content just for the Wii. Then this is the Wii. So obviously when the Wii U came out, he's like, amazing, I need to purchase this device, which he did, and it allowed him to transfer all his Wii content over to the Wii U, which is good. This is how things should work. Problem is the Wii U has a slight fault, kind of like the Xbox has the red ring, apparently is the orange glow of the Wii U. Now, I've not heard much stuff or many people saying they're getting this orange glow, so it sounds like it could just be a one-off, so I'm not going to slate the Wii U for breaking down this early. But the point is, you got the orange glow, and you've got two options. You can send it off to Nintendo, get it repaired, or because it's a brand new bloody console, take it back to the shop, demand your money and get a new one, which that's what John did, and rightly so. I'll do the same. So John goes into the store, slams down his Wii U, comes out with a brand new Wii U, comes home, turns it on, tries to sign in, and he can't, because his actual Nintendo account is now tied down to the broken Wii U. And then it says you now need to create a new ID, because that's now locked to that. So he contacts Nintendo, and their simple response is, well, you shouldn't have got rid of your old console. We should have repaired it, because that ID is tied to that. And he's like, well, you know what I mean? I didn't want to wait around. I just took it in. How do we stand now? And they said that they couldn't transfer the content over. They said he needs to create a new account and wouldn't be able to transfer the content over. And he even have a receipt, because obviously everything's stored online. So online he's got a vast list of all the games that he purchased. He's shown them and says, look, I've got all these games. I want to continue playing them. So after a bit, Nintendo kind of buckled and gave him $200 in vouchers. Now, these games are worth $400 for one, so they've kind of stiffed him by only giving half his money back. And two, they gave it him in Wii U vouchers. Now, this is a slight confusing point. Wii money can be used on the Wii and the Wii U, whereas Wii U money can only be used on a Wii U. So they gave him Wii U vouchers up to $200, but he cannot buy Wii content with it. And the thing is, a lot of them games are only accessible on the Wii. So you can buy them on the Wii and transfer them to the Wii U, but you can't buy them on the Wii U. So therefore, he cannot get to these old ones unless he puts his account on the Wii, buys them all again, and it still won't take access to the vouchers that they gave him. So in other words, it's shit service from Nintendo, and it's just a shit way to do it, to have things locked down to the hardware. I just can't understand, and I know it's for piracy, but the thing that annoys me more than anything, the people that go out there to pirate these games, and they get away with it, and it's all fine for them. But the people like us who actually fund all these games and consoles, and we put so much time and money into it, it, and we're the ones that get fucked because they try and say, oh yeah, it's because of piracy. No, it's not. It's because you're lazy, and there's better ways around doing such things, but you choose the easy option. So that's kind of annoyed me from Nintendo. And at the same time, if my head gets really hot, I'm not used to this heating, and I can't get the heat out the house. I keep opening the windows and stuff, and I thought, no, I need to film. So if I start sweating in a minute, I'm sorry. So the next thing I want to talk about is, as I started talking, Aliens Colonial Marines, which I paid for it full price on release like a fool, and something in my head went, don't jump on the bandwagon, don't jump on it, and then last minute I went, ah, and jumped on the bandwagon. And I've never ever played a game before that I actually got 1 hour into it and I'd already sold it. I put it onto eBay after about 45 minutes and I was like, you know what, this game is terrible, and then somebody instantly purchased it on a buy it now on eBay, so I was like, crap, now it's sold, I need to complete it. So I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning completing the entire game, and it was amazing because we had a good time playing it, but the game is absolutely terrible. It's not finished, it's just a crock of shit. Well, the interesting thing is now came out that it's found out that obviously Sega are the ones that funded this, and it was Gearbox that was actually creating the game. And obviously everyone knows Gearbox's big title is Borderlands. Now it's coming out that apparently in the actual Gearbox office, you've obviously got a set of people working on Aliens, and you've got a set of people working on Borderlands. And it sounds like that Gearbox have been taking money off Sega, using that money to fund Borderlands, and also taking some of the actual Alien staff and sticking them on Borderlands. So what's happened is somebody that works for Gearbox says there was under stress and the team was so small, and at some points the entire project just ceased to actually continue going forwards, and everyone was forced onto Borderlands, which kind of, I've played Borderlands, absolutely love Borderlands. The time and effort and money's been spent well on that game, so it kind of, you can see, you know what I mean, that's what happens when you put time and resource into it. And then when you actually take people away and not give it enough money, then Aliens happen. So it kind of makes sense what people are saying at the moment. So obviously people got to look into exactly what's going on at the moment. Nobody wants to name names. They're just kind of just coming out and saying this happened, disappearing into the shadows. So it sounds like a very interesting thing that obviously Sega are going to look into. So on one hand, it makes me go, you know what, Gearbox, I don't like you as much now for doing that, because that's a bad tactic. And two, I feel sorry for Sega, because Sega funded the game, and it sounds like a lot of that money may have gone into Borderlands and not going to see any of the revenue from it. But at the same time, Sega, Jesus Christ, if I'm paying somebody all that money to make a game, you need to assign a project manager to watch where that money goes. It is your job not to just give money, but to make sure it's going forwards. I can't understand why they said it for one point, I think it was 2 months the game didn't move. They kind of just abandoned it and went on to Borderlands. Now during that 2 months, why the hell hadn't Sega gone in and gone, okay then what's different this month, you know what I mean, let's have a look, what revisions have we done to the game, whose job was it to actually check that this game was being made? So one hand, I think Sega, you are a bit slack for letting that fly, and two, Gearbox, that's dirty. I've worked in office environments before where customers have paid for something, but the actual people that work there, the manager's like, no, you know what I mean, you don't need to have all that time and resources, you can actually work just by yourself. You're like, no, the customer's paid for it and I am quite stressed, I would like to have 2 people on this project please. And it's a horrible environment, and that's why I'm so glad I've now got out of that environment. But then to hear that's happening to games and stuff, I'm just like, oh, it really pains me. So yes, fingers crossed Sega will sue Borderlands. If anything, I say that Sega's name should be on the Borderlands box, and they should get a small percentage of the sales if they have in fact funded that game. Next thing I want to talk about is not massive news really, but it's something interesting that popped up, and I'm kind of curious as to exactly how this is going to pan out. And what that is the great game called Walking Dead. Is obviously going to get to Season 2. That's a no-brainer. The game was really successful. There's no reason why not to make a Season 2. And Telltale Games have also turned around and said, yes, Season 2 is in the pipeline, which is awesome, and I can't wait for that game to turn on. But one of the guys from Telltale Games has turned around and said that don't worry for all the people that can't wait till Season 2 comes out. We've got something else in line between Season 1 and Season 2. Which is kind of confusing to me, because personally I think the character development and story has finished of Season 1. I don't know how Season 2 is going to start, and I can't understand how Season 1.5 is going to squeeze in the middle. So I'm a bit curious exactly what's going to happen with that. I do want to say one thing, and if you've not played Walking Dead, just put it on mute, and then when I drop my hand, then you can unmute it. So mute it now. You daft twat. Why ain't you played this game? But anyway, that aside, I think it's going to be following Clementine a bit further on into the game and perhaps setting it up how she may have got somewhere, and then Season 2 could hopefully continue her story. So, I don't know. I've got a feeling that this might just be the lead up to Clementine's story. Hopefully, as a bit of an older character. I hope she's around 16 or 18 now, and that'd be quite cool to see. But that's my sense on it, really. On mute. So yeah, hopefully that's the way it's going to work. But I thought it was quite interesting because it's just one of the things that I didn't expect. But the weird thing about this is, like, I quite like the idea of having more Walking Dead quite quickly. Normally if a game releases something quite quickly, Assassin's Creed, then I tend to get angry. But it's because Assassin's Creed to me feels like you could just change the map and claim it's a new game. Whereas on Walking Dead you can't change the map and call it a new game. You know what I mean? You've got to work about all the character development and all that lot. So if they say they're going to be making some new content, it makes me personally believe that it is going to be new content and not reskin crap. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've actually got to show. Speaking of Assassin's Creed 7482 has been announced, and it's the pirate version, which I just... getting a character and sticking an eye patch on him and claiming it's the pirate era is not justification for a new fucking game. Now, I could be completely wrong because I've not played Assassin's Creed 3. I've not brought into it because I wanted to, and then 4 was announced practically before 3 even dropped, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to do it. I could be missing out on an absolutely amazing game. I will never know because I'm not buying into it, and it's Ubisoft again. And it sounds like, obviously, I spoke last week, Ubisoft are like, yay, let's just bang these games out, and now they've even got cover art of a pirate, like, well, not a pirate, just your normal assassin with the black flag in the background and stuff like that, and I'm just like, how on earth have you got cover art already when your game has just been released? And I'm just like, I can't fathom how it's just wrong, and I don't want to buy into it at all. So Ubisoft are really damaging the name, and I don't like them now because you shouldn't be making a game that f***ing quick. Well, good news! I don't know. What is it? We're in March now, and I think this could be the first time I get to actually spin the chair because it's EA time! So, yes, EA have been very quiet lately, which annoys me because I love to bash EA. So this one starts off then with Dead Space 3, which has obviously got microtransactions built into the actual game, which to me is not a problem because I don't really want to play that game, and microtransactions I'm not a big fan of, but I always see it's one of them ones that if you don't like it, don't pay for it kind of jobbos. But it's worked. It made EA money, so therefore EA now says we're going to do it to every single game that we own. Now, before I go into why it's incredibly wrong, but the first thing is EA's turned around and said customers are enjoying and embracing this idea of microtransactions, which I just think is absolutely ludicrous from saying that. And now they say they're going to obviously apply it to all the games, so they can, let me just look away from the screen, you can go along the way and either get higher levels, buy new characters, buy trucks or a gun, whatever it might be. And that's EA's words. And the thing is, it just feels like if you had a poll, I'm sure 90% of people say they don't want microtransactions, so all they've done is look that somebody has paid for content and therefore gone, everybody enjoys it. And you're like, no, not everyone enjoys this. And the thing is, I kind of get away with, like, let's take Burnout for instance. Burnout, you've got to play through and unlock all the cars, or if you want, you can actually pay for the DLC, Cheat Pass, that kind of just gives you all the cars, which to me is just pointless, but you buy a game to play it, not to instantly have everything. But that's personally how I play games. People play them differently. So that kind of idea of having DLC, you can just jump to the end. I don't mind. If you want to be a cheat and waste, you want to do it. But it seems like now that they're actually saying, oh, you can do microtransactions and buy all these tiny little bits and bobs. Now, first of all, it's going to be applied to Battlefield 4. Now, Battlefield 4, for one, you've got to buy the game. 2, if you bought it second hand, you've got to buy the actual pass for it. On top of it, I'm actually paying every so often to rent a server. Then on top of that, I'm actually paying for my season pass because I want to get all my DLC at the cheapest price I can. And now on top of it, we've got the microtransaction fucking bollocks. EA, you're taking the piss with the amount of money that you want to take from each single game. Now, microtransactions I'm completely on board with for free games. I like the idea of either A, paying £40 for a game and it's a complete fucking game, or B, give us a free game which is just full of microtransactions that we can make use of if we want to, and that's how you make your money. But to have a game at full price and microtransactions and DLC and season pass all thrown in top, that's a piss take, a massive piss take, and EA are the king of piss takers at the moment. And the thing that's going to annoy me is that obviously we don't understand fully what these microtransactions will be. Normally a microtransaction would just be something that you get and it then expires or something like that. Now how the hell would that work for a weapon? Because you can't buy a weapon, someone shoots you, instantly lose it, so because no one would do it. So does that mean you get it for the round, for the night, or just you get it all the time? And I don't like the idea of buying Battlefield 4, jumping in, and next minute getting shot by everyone that's actually paid for the better weapons. I like the idea of grinding, and it's not going to put me off because I'm going to go in there, I'm going to put my time and effort into that game and get a high ranking and kill every that wants to pay to try and get me with a better weapon. But still, the point still stands how much money these franchises now suck in. It's just disgusting. While we're talking about EA, you may have noticed that when Sony did their conference, a lot of EA stuff, well not a lot, all EA stuff was held back, nothing was shown. So Battlefield 4 we know is going to happen. We've even had reports on Twitter that certain people have played it and said it's amazing, so obviously there is something there, and they could have really shown that off on the Sony Expo, which they didn't. And it's turned out that apparently that EA have tied in with some form of contract for exclusive stuff for Microsoft. So this exclusive doesn't mean that Battlefield will only be on the Xbox, it probably just means time DLC and all that crap. But the point is the contract lies with Microsoft, so therefore they're going to let Microsoft unreveal all the nice shiny new toys. And they've also said you'll be seeing this kind of content from now up until E3. Now as we know, E3 is in June, so at first guess I would say they'll just show it in June, but they said now and to June. So obviously in the middle they're going to be showing something, which made me go, well, why are you going to show it just randomly in the middle? Now Microsoft have actually turned around and said they're going to do their own expo in April, which kind of confirms that makes sense. If EA going to show something before June and Microsoft going to do something in April, it's probably all going to be at Microsoft's big expo, which is good. It's made me excited. It means that I may be able to see the future console I may be purchasing hopefully in April, so I am looking forward to that. And to top all that off, another little bit of Microsoft rumour to just chuck in there. Obviously, PlayStation announced that you'll be able to live stream your games up to Ustream. And there's been an interview with Ustream simply saying, obviously, you got this new contract with Sony, it's going to be brilliant for you. And it says, is this an exclusive to Sony? Which they replied, no, it's not an exclusive, which implies it kind of could be to Microsoft as well. But then when there was asked, is Microsoft going to be doing it? It says, we cannot confirm anything. So it sounds like one of them ones where, yes, it's happening, but they yet can't confirm. So that is good news. It looks like we may have a similar feature on the Xbox, which I'm looking forward to. So with that then, I'm going to drink this drink because we're coming to the end of the Friday night rant. But what I want to know is, obviously we know a lot of stuff now about Sony because they've shown off exactly what they're going to do, apart from the hardware, which would have been nice to see. But that aside, Microsoft are going to be doing theirs in a month or so. So the question of the week is going to be, what would you want to see from the Xbox 3? Now just keep it to the one simple thing. What's the deal breaker? What do you really, really want? Now for me, I have to say it's definitely not graphics. Don't give two shits about graphics. Graphics that we have for the current gen console, I'm absolutely happy with. Could live for a longer time on that. What I want to see is actually two things. I know I said one, but my two things has got to be the ability to be able to record games, because I think that would be amazing. There's so many times I've had a beautiful piece of gold in front of me and I've gone, I wish I recorded that. So the ability to be able to record your games, that's got to happen for me. And two, it's just about connectivity to people. I love Xbox because of the party system. Even though the party system every so often kicks people out, it's hard to get back in. Every time you do an update, it takes you out of the party. Lots of little niggly things, which I hopefully are all going to be fixed in the next one. But on top of it, I want to make sure it's super easy to be able to get into someone's game, into someone's lobby and all that lot. So to me, it's just the connectivity between players that's key for me, and I think Xbox have got it right anyway, but I just want them to build on top of that, and to me that would sell the console to me. So that's it guys, I'm going to sit back and drink what little vodka I've got left, and I'm actually going to jump on the Xbox and start playing Arcade Craft because I'm absolutely addicted to it. If you've not seen it, it's I think it's an Xbox exclusive, but it consists of like a theme park but in an arcade. So absolutely amazing game, and yeah, I'm completely addicted to it. So I'm going to go and play and run my arcade. Apart from I call it Jurassic Junkies Arcade because I've got ass in the word Jurassic and it says it's a naughty word, so it's just called Junkies Arcade, which sounds a bit more worse, but they let you get away with that. So that's me guys, I've drank this, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Cheers guys, bye.